The views and opinions expressed in this podcast by the host and or the guest do not necessarily reflect the views of the host and or Paranormal Buzz Radio and or its sponsors. Use of any material produced by Paranormal Buzz Radio without express written consent is prohibited. Paranormal Buzz Radio will not be held responsible for you holding your knees, crying, and rocking in a corner in a puddle of your own urine, or being beheaded by a group of children in a cornfield. In fact, if you come across a group of children in a cornfield, we promise to make fun of you as you run away screaming in terror. Listener discretion is advised.
Paranormal 5 is bringing you Para Peeps New England to help showcase some of the best in the paranormal and unexplained in the area. Their goal? To show the strength of paranormal unity by giving everyone in the field a voice. Join them as they discuss everything from haunted locations, aliens, metaphysical, cryptids, and much, much more. So sit back, enjoy the show, and as always, thank you for listening.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to episode number 1 of Para Peeps New England. My name is Rich.
And I'm Missy.
And we are of Paranormal 5, a Maine-based paranormal family, which we'll get into a little bit of that later. But we just wanted to, first of all, say thank you to everybody who is checking this out and tuning in and listening to us.
Yes, thank you very much.
We've said many times before, we bore ourselves when we talk, so it's awesome to think that there's people that want to hear us, and we'd love to share some stuff with you. But before we kind of dive into what this show is going to be about and where we want to go with this, we thought that for episode number 1, it'd be a good idea to kind of give you guys some insight, maybe some feedback as to what got us involved in the paranormal and kind of what led us to become a paranormal family, and then led us to kind of take on some of these other endeavors that we're going on right now. So would you like me to start, or would you like to start?
You can go first.
I can go first. All right. So
pressure's on you.
I know, pressure's on me. So as far as getting involved in the paranormal, I think my story starts out really kind of bland and boring. I did not grow up in a household that bought into any of it. Everything was explained. Everything was a dream. Everything was a nightmare. There was no, we didn't talk about ghosts and the reality of things, and it was just easier to call it fake and just to kind of move on. But I think for some reason, my own kind of intrigue as a kid, like I always found myself really, really just concerned with what happens after life. Again, not from a paranormal standpoint or from a ghost or from a haunting. I was just convinced that, like, man, this can't be it. Like, you can't just all of a sudden be here and then gone, and then that's it. That's where everything just stops. And that, like, bugged me, and I feel like I spent way more time as a kid thinking about that stuff and being bothered by that stuff than I should have, especially, like, as a kid trying to go to bed and just laying in bed, just minds racing and wandering. And I didn't know what to do with it. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know that there was avenues to check this stuff out and to kind of get some information to kind of help coast you through those thoughts and experiences. And again, it wasn't that my family didn't want to. It was just, that wasn't where we came from. That wasn't something we were big into. So for me, it was actually kind of later on in life, and actually in meeting Missy and finding out that she's got this passion here for paranormal and learning more about how there is a lot of people that have these same questions, and there is a lot of unknowns that people are trying to solve, and there's a lot more explanation behind it, and you get a lot more a lot more paths to take other than just, you're here one day and then you're not. So, getting my interest kind of re-sparked and rekindled after meeting you and really just looking for those answers for myself.
So pretty much I popped your paranormal cherry.
I think so. Actually, yes. Maybe. I will. So maybe I will say though there's one way to look at it. But I will say I guess if I had to pinpoint my first thing that was unexplained in paranormal, I remember as a kid, and it's very simple and basic. It's nothing too exciting, but it took place over a cup. I remember as a kid in my house of having a cup of water. I think it was water. Maybe it was milk.
Knowing you, it was probably milk.
It was probably milk. I was a big milk fan. But I distinctively remember setting the cup down. It was on our washing machine, and I had gone down to the back room for whatever reason, and when I had come out to grab said drink, it was gone. I was the only one in the house. I was alone. I was probably a young teen. I don't even know. But that was the first time of just being like, what is going on here? So that may have been the initial popping of said cherry. But yeah, no, you definitely kind of brought it back out of me and got
I'll
me
just
reinterested.
take the credit.
Yeah, I'll give you the credit for it. So But yeah, and again, I think since then, and just the more we've kind of dove into this, especially over the last 5-6 years, and even more so recently over the last 2 or 3 years, of really kind of trying to reach out and network and find other like-minded people. It's just something that's kind of grown. Like I said, it didn't hit me hard as a kid, other than just having questions of what was next. And so now, as an adult, trying to find some of those answers.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
What about you?
Well, I have been a fan. You have to apologize. There may be some background noises, like our cats.
Yes.
We have kittens.
We have lots of animals in our house.
And they're just running, and that's all I'm hearing. I don't know if you guys are hearing it or not. But anyways.
The audience thinks it's hilarious. Sorry.
Sorry. And so, but anyway, so I have been kind of interested and passionate about the paranormal ever for, oh my gosh, like 25 plus years, around that.
You're getting old.
I am getting old.
You're getting old. I'm getting old. I'm getting older. You're staying young.
Okay, I like that.
Isn't that nice?
You're a keeper.
Right.
So, but anyway, so about 25 plus years I've been interested in the paranormal. I remember as a child watching Unsolved Mysteries and Sightings, and just thinking that it just made sense. Like, it felt like the paranormal, like the stories and the locations and the history that they would be sharing about these ghost stories, whatever, it just made sense, and it seemed like this was the path that I wanted to be on. And eventually I kind of grew to have this huge hobby, and my parents, I was very lucky that my parents, both of them got very interested in this field as well.
Do you feel like you got interested because of them, or they got interested
No,
because
they
of you?
got interested because of me.
Nice.
And so we would plan family vacation trips around Gettysburg. We went to psychic fairs. We did stuff like that. My parents actually bought me a Ouija board when I was probably like 10.
Ouija
oh my god,
board.
Ouija
oh my
board.
Goodness.
Richie has the
Controversial
option.
topic. I got the soundboard here. This is great.
I
You
know,
shouldn't have
Richie's
given it to
having
me.
so much fun with buttons.
I'm the kid that, the guy that the red button that you're not supposed to push. That's got me written all over it. Anyway.
Yeah, pretty much. So, but anyway, so we would go to Gettysburg a lot. We set up, my parents would set up ghost tours. We went to we would go to all the haunted locations, like if they would have like dinners and stuff like that at the restaurants. And we actually got to do a investigation with local paranormal investigators down there, which was just an amazing experience. One thing that I have to say up front, and I'm going to sorry but not sorry situation, that I have a huge love for Gettysburg. I talk about it all the time. If you know me, I probably have a story about Gettysburg for any type of paranormal
In your defense,
experience.
though, I think anybody who has ever gone to Gettysburg will automatically become obsessed with Gettysburg as well.
Yeah, we go at least 1 to 3 times a year. Like
I've been torn. I grew up a White Mountains kid. I grew up in the mountainside, camping, everything like that. And that's still one of the things I love dearly. And then, like many things that go spook, Missy introduced me to Gettysburg, and I gotta say it's definitely teeters back and forth as to where my number one pick would be. So
yeah, for vacations, I know we always are just like, oh, let's go here. I'm just like, no, we're going to Gettysburg. Sorry, I tramp you.
Just a quick 7-hour drive, and there you are.
Yeah, no problem. It's no big deal. No big deal. So, but anyway, so now I've kind of, just Gettysburg and everything like that. And I have to say, like, kind of moving on from that part, like, I fully believe that I am a sensitive, that I have a gift. I don't necessarily label myself as a psychic or a medium. I will definitely say that I'm an empath, and I feel everything. And I think that I was kind of drawn to this path so much as a child just because of having that gift, having that sensitivity.
So you think even as a younger you maybe didn't realize it, but still had it there.
And I think that's why it just made sense. And then getting older, and kind of going through, like, I feel like motherhood kind of changed me, kind of shifted, and the paranormal and all that stuff kind of got put on the back burner. Kind of with just parenthood, motherhood, you kind of lose yourself a little bit, but rediscovering and kind of having like another like spiritual awakening and realizing like there was a reason why you were on this path as a child. We understand why you kind of fizzled out of it because of just motherhood, but it's time for you to get back on the train,
Sure.
get the ball rolling. And I kind of had like this other spiritual awakening. So now like feelings and emotions and sensing things back as a child, like I can almost be like, oh, this is why I felt that then, and I didn't know why, like almost just like rediscovering it, relearning it.
Yeah.
And maybe not relearning it, but discovering it and understanding why I felt the way that I did then. I don't know. Hopefully somebody's understanding what I'm saying or making the connections.
Yeah.
But anyways, another huge reason why I feel like I'm so drawn to this field is that I love history. And I'm actually getting my degree. I went back to school for American history, and I'm so super excited. Thank you.
That was supposed to be a clap track, not a laugh track.
It's okay.
I don't think it's
understand.
Fun. I think it's great that you're back in school.
Yeah, I'm really excited. It's finally taken me so long to finally get my butt back in gear, but finally found something that I'm so passionate about, and why not be able to use the history and bring it with the paranormal at the same time, and
Absolutely.
how it can kind of go.
They totally go hand in hand.
I know.
There's no
I almost sometimes love the history. I love the haunt, but I almost just love the mystery and the history behind it.
Right. And what better place to do it than right here in New England, right here in Maine, and
in Gettysburg.
Oh yeah, Gettysburg too. Yeah, still.
But yeah,
we are very fortunate in the sense that where we're based out of, you definitely got plenty of all of that to go around.
Yes, exactly. Like you turn a corner and there is a story or a historical building, a cemetery. There's some type of landmark anywhere in New England where you will find deep history, and we're very grateful to live in the East Coast in this area because of that.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure.
Definitely.
So we kind of started Paranormal 5 when we moved a little bit further up Maine. It's been a little over a year since we started it.
It has been, yep. Yeah, back, geez, like a year and a half now, maybe? Almost 2.
No, it hasn't been almost 2.
Time flies. Pandemic, everything else.
I know, it's been a crazy year. But I want to say it's probably a little over a year.
Yeah.
That we started it. And we started Paranormal 5 as the thought that it was going to be our family, a family of 5. And we would kind of talk about having and raising children in the paranormal field. We would talk about and share our experiences.
Sure.
The children's and also ours.
Yep.
And we were also really thinking about getting people together and doing paranormal monthly meetups where we would get groups of people and just hang out and share scary stories. And we kind of were inspired to start doing that aspect of doing the meetup group from the KRI Center that was down in Stratham, New Hampshire. It's no longer, I know that they're still doing events, but I don't know exactly like how they're doing it. But since we were kind of like inspired because they would do these monthly meetups, and it was just so great to be able to connect to people that you'd never known, but they can share and understand your stories and everything like that.
Yeah, no, I think it's cool because the idea behind, like Missy was saying, behind us starting, Paranormal 5 in this group was, which, we'll kind of get more into the whole Paranormal 5 part and what makes it a 5. But it really was it was on a much smaller level or scale in the sense that it was really just something for us to, here we are getting ready to move to a new area, and we're looking for reasons to kind of mingle with some of the people here and try to find like-minded people. And so then we started this whole kind of online group, which was also based in doing, like Missy said, these meetups where once a month we would get together and, we would just, it was almost like a support group for people that were interested in this, and everyone comes and it's like this, it's a safe zone. It's somewhere where you can talk about your experiences and not feel like you're going to be ridiculed because, let's be honest, like there's some people that are still not accepting into this and look at you like you got 2 heads or 3 heads if you start talking about specters and ghouls and ghosts or no heads, And so it might keep a lot of people that might have some great stories and great information and kind of keep them back in the shadows, no pun intended, and from being out and having a voice. So it kind of started as this little group, and we saw that really it just kind of it really had its own momentum behind it. Like there was other people that really wanted to dive into this, and you start getting all this feedback from people about, wow, this group was awesome, and we've been looking for something like this where we could just come and talk and share our ideas. And I mean, we've had people show up that were just entering into a spiritual journey, and they were just looking for any kind of guidance as they went through it. We went through other people that came in that were having these really just extreme experiences with past loved ones and didn't know how to handle it, and you just start getting a lot of insight. And so it kind of led and morphed into this whole idea of this networking, this kind of as we've kind of said it all along, this paranormal unity of bringing these different people together and these different groups and these different mindsets, and it's just kind of evolved, and it just kept going, and it's been awesome, and it's led us into a bunch of different directions. It's allowed us to meet people that we never would have met any other way. It's allowed us to bring other groups together that by other means wouldn't have gotten a chance to meet and start this like networking process. So it's been great to kind of sit back and watch it kind of do its thing.
Yeah, no, I think that my favorite thing was, I think it was our second meetup that we had before we had to stop because of COVID, which was so annoying, just like so many other things that had to kind of be put on halt. But one time it just seemed like there was somebody coming in that was needed, just almost just like they needed to voice what was going on because they were raised so religious, and this wasn't talked about. This was like looked down upon. And we had somebody else who was there that was almost just like she said and spoke words that this other person needed to hear. And it was just almost just like it just like these two people needed to meet because this person kind of had gone through it before, but not to the extent. But it was just, I don't know, it was probably one of like my most favorite meetings to be able to see those two people meet this connection. But then even after, like they left like giving each other their information so they could have contact beyond us. And I think that was an awesome moment for me because I'm just like, this is what it's about. This is what this is what we wanted to do, was to have other people meet other people, and it's just to meet these connections, and it's awesome in that aspect. Like that was my like, oh my god, yeah, we're doing something really cool.
No, it's been awesome, and again, so this is just another outlet for us to really try to continue that movement of really just looking to bring people together and bring a voice to people and allow people to tell their story. And because again, like when we started this, we never thought that there would be anybody that would want to just hang out and listen. But it's
we
been
think
great.
That we're kind of lame.
It's been so accepting, and this community, it's here we are, a paranormal family, but the paranormal in general is such a huge family, and it's such an accepting group, and it's awesome, and it's some of the best people you'll ever meet, some of the kindest people you'll ever meet, some of the most dedicated people you'll ever meet, and it's great, and it's all pretty much self-driven, and there's no rules, there's no script, there's no playbook here. It's just kind of just people being awesome.
Yeah, definitely. And so obviously with COVID and everything like that, it was kind of a bummer that we had to stop, but luckily like we were still able to do like Facebook Lives and be able to still be in contact with other folks and meet more folks from that and everything like that. So it was really awesome.
It was. Still is.
No, it still is awesome. We still do like our weekly or every week, or when do we do it?
We got a couple different ones. So we've got a bi-weekly live that we do. We've got a weekly live show that we do with another paranormal group. It's awesome, and then now we're starting in here on episode number 1 of Parapeeps.
I know.
Throw the plug out there. So to kind of bring it back to what we were talking about before, and us and our group, Paranormal 5. 5 you say, but hey, there's only 2 of you guys talking. Where's the other 3? So we are a family of 5. It's myself, Missy, and our 3 children, who, for sake of whatnot, maybe we'll leave names uninvolved until they can come and introduce themselves. Because I know that's going to be one thing they're going to want to do.
Oh yeah, no, they're excited about this podcast too.
And I think what's been really cool about being a paranormal family is it kind of automatically gave a reason. I guess it's the wrong way to look at it, but it kind of just, people were really intrigued by it because I don't think you see a lot of bringing children in and really kind of, you're seeing a lot more than now. I think so.
Older, like you are starting to see, like, I don't know, probably around like our daughter's, she's 10, so probably like about 10 and up that you're starting to see like some kids and stuff like that, which is awesome. And I love seeing that because I was one of those kids.
Well, for sure. And like we just talked about as far as our upbringing, I mean, so Missy and I came from two totally different backgrounds in the sense of, she grew up in an accepting family. And again, I don't say that as a negative in mind. We just didn't partake in it. So again, for me, a young child who was wondering a lot of these things, I didn't have an outlet or an answer or a way of communicating this without just being told the normal as a kid. It's all in your head, it's all made up, blah, blah, blah. So, for me, as far as the family aspect, I think it does a couple of things. I think doing this as a family, obviously, I think anybody who has kids or has a family knows that you're always trying to find things that you can
do as a family
and agree upon. And Missy and I, we kind of, this isn't just a hobby that we do when we talk. I mean, we live it. It's our life. It's our home. It's our home decor. Halloween is 365 days a year. I mean, this is something we really like. And so, I guess in a sense, like our kids have kind of had to grow up in it, but fortunately for us, they've been just as interested without our pushing.
Nothing's ever pushed.
Yeah, we've never had to push anything, and we've never had to kind of force it. It's just something that they took a liking to, and obviously as parents, if we have that opportunity to share our love with them and they're showing it back, it's been a really cool experience, and there's a lot that goes into it. And I'm sure you've been asked, obviously being mom, you get asked the question a lot. So what are your thoughts as far as having kids, our kids, or just kids in general, starting them out young and being involved in this?
Why are you stumping me? So, no, just kidding. So, I don't know. Like, it was always just normal for me. And I don't ever want my kids to be fearful to be scared of this. Obviously, like, I feel like there are children that may be a little nervous about this, but obviously, like we talked about, like, this is anything that's pushed. But I think that it's interesting to hear what they kind of have to say about it. Like, when they kind of were just like, well, what happens when we die? Well, I don't know, but I think that it's kind of cool that, like, people are still checking in on us, like our loved ones, or even people that loved this location, or they had an experience at this location and that's why they're still there, hanging out. But also, like, it's really cool because also we do like we do like ghost spirits, that type of stuff, but we also kind of do like a little bit of like the cryptid side of it too.
And that's what I love the most too.
I think so too. Like, when we go out camping, when we go out for our hikes and our walks and everything like that, like, they love Bigfoot hunting. Like, they have like their special map to measure out, like, it's not a map, but scale to measure how big like a footprint was. My daughter, she has her own special stick to whack with, to do the whacking of the trees, for the tree knocking.
Whacking.
Both of our sons are like professional Bigfoot
like
callers.
It's really good. Like, we're definitely going to get them on here eventually to demonstrate their calls.
I know we talk about how they're so good at it, but like it's actually quite impressive. But I also just love the aspect of, like, when we go and do that part of it, like, they're getting outside.
Well, I was just going to say, especially for us, well, that's all right, for us with 3 kids who are very active and are constantly on the go, and good luck trying to get these guys to slow down and take a minute, but to get them outside and to get them to slow down and listen and be in the moment and be in the environment and to stare at the sky with no expectations, and just take it all in, and just to be in the woods and just hear every sound around you. Like, it's so therapeutic, I think, for myself as an adult, and for the kids, just to be able to kind of take that time to slow down and slow your brains down and just be immersed in the moment. There's so many good things to take away from it. I mean, whether it's paranormal or cryptid or just being out in the environment, I just think it's a great tool as parents and as a family to kind of have together.
Yeah. And one thing, kind of going back onto like the paranormal side of it and stuff like that, like when we go to these locations, like we've gone to many of the forts, many of the cemeteries. We've gone to, I'm trying to think where else we've brought in the kids to. Obviously Gettysburg.
We brought our daughter up to
Parsons Field Seminary.
Yeah.
But the kids, they also learn like the history, like bringing it back to like learning like their New England roots, like, and learning that, and also Gettysburg too. Like, they're very fascinated with the battlefield. Like, they're very curious of that, and I just love seeing that curiosity and just kind of like building off of that with the paranormal.
Well, and it's
side
all
too.
it's great because you mix like the educational side into it, and obviously the times we're in right now, and maybe other families are doing the same thing. We're mixing in a lot of homeschooling with what's going on because it's 2021, fresh out of 2020. But these investigations that we go on in these locations, like you said, and you do a great job of really bringing the history behind it and setting up projects around these, and it's a great overall learning experience for the kids, and it gets them thinking. And my kids know so much more about at their ages about history of places, and they can talk and hold these conversations far more than I would at any of their ages, and it's awesome to see that they're picking up on it. And
one thing that's like our all-time favorite thing is like we love to go check out cemeteries. And some with like the local, like we have a lot of old cemeteries here in New England, and there's a couple cemeteries that we love to go and check out. And one of them is at Old York Historical Society, and they have, quote unquote, the witch's grave, even though she wasn't accused as a witch. Oh man, Richie, you and your buttons. But we love going there, and we'll go there, and the kids just go to her grave. They'll leave a penny, or they'll leave some type of coin or some type of offering, because that's what everybody does with that. And they just think it's so interesting with the wolf stone that's on top of her headstone. Her name's Mary Nason. It's a very interesting story, which I'm not going to get into because I feel like time-wise, I don't know. But they love doing that. And then we'll also kind of make like games with it also. I'm just like, find the oldest grave, find a general. Like, so it's not just like the paranormal side. They're also learning and not forgetting these people, or not forgetting history too, which... Yep.
And there's a huge respect aspect as well, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think that's, again, it's another way to instill some lessons in the kids. And when you're dealing in the paranormal, and you're dealing in the dead, and you're dealing with these historical sites and these graveyards, I mean, respect is a word that we can't say enough when we're talking about these, and just really instilling this in them too. So. Yeah.
Definitely. And so when we've brought in the kids and when we've done investigations with them, it's also amazing to see them use these tools as well. Like my daughter, she loves using the pendulum,
the dowsing rods.
Thing I have to say, people, is that our children know that these are tools, they are not toys, and how they treat them is in the utmost respect. And once again, we would never do anything or put our children into any type of situation that they weren't comfortable with or that we weren't comfortable with.
Oh, for sure.
And if there's any moment of fear or anything, which there has never been with the children, we would obviously stop.
Yeah, stop or move, but then talk about it. Talk about what is it? Why didn't you feel comfortable? What do you think? Did you think that we had done something? Is it something that we could have controlled? There's lessons to be learned in all of it. So,
exactly,
but yeah,
because even like as investigators, like when we feel fear or when we start to feel uncomfortable, we try to figure it out. And with children, like we need to be able to help them. But that's with all fear, not necessarily like fear, like, oh, they're scared to go to the doctor. Well, we're going to talk about it. We're going to work through it, and we're going to get through it. Like, it's not, we do it in all aspects.
And it's funny too. Just going back to as far as some of the tools they like to use. It's funny. I'm sure a lot of parents can relate. You grab your cell phone and you find like a camera roll that your kids took a bunch of pictures of. Well, it's equally as funny. Well, but it's equally as funny when you grab the EVP, the voice recorder, and you go back and you play, and one of the kids has gone on there, and just to hear like how into it they get when they're raw, when they're in their own moment, when they don't have mom or dad standing over them, they'll especially in some of these graveyards, they'll take the EVP, they'll go out and they'll go stand in the in an open area, and they'll just have a conversation, and some of the things that they think to ask and instinctively, and it's great to hear. It's and you can hear it's very genuine, and yeah, it's awesome to experience that with them.
It is funny, and it's funny. So we've been out on the battlefield at Gettysburg at night during park hours. I have to say that we do everything legal. But so it was so funny. We were in one part of the battlefield, and it was dark. It was night. Like there was a ton of bats flying above us and dive bombing us, which was a little nerve-wracking. But my daughter was on completely one side of the field by herself doing she was in safe distance. I sound like a terrible mother when I say this, but she was in one area, and my other son...
We just left them out there. We were back at the hotel. They were fine.
No. And my other son was on the other side, and I was kind of in the middle, and it's dark. Yeah. They didn't have a flashlight. They were out there doing it, and because they wanted that experience. They wanted to hear if they got something back on the voice recorder, and unfortunately they didn't get anything. But it's funny also because they make sure that they give enough time in between the questions. Like my son actually even put down the voice recorder, and he's just like, I'll give you a minute and I'm going to walk away. And just That's listening awesome. To it. It's so amazing. But it's also funny to find your your voice recorder and hear your kids saying bad words on it. They found it and they found said some bad words. I'm just kids. Yeah, they are our kids. They are our kids. Or there's fart.
Rebels.
It's absolutely hilarious. But they have a good time, and I just think it's amazing. And one story, really quickly, that we're going to share is that, or that I was going to quickly share, is that we actually saw a full body apparition.
Yeah,
I'm not going to dive deep into it, but we saw a full body apparition at one of our trips down to Gettysburg with our children.
As Paranormal 5, as our 5-person family, we all shared that experience at the same time together. And we've talked about it, what was more, it was hard to focus on the actual apparition itself or focusing on our kids who are having this experience for the first time.
Yeah, it was
and it's my first. It's my first.
It was my first too. It was my first time being able to see a full body apparition, and I'm just I don't know I didn't know who to look at, and it was just one of those moments where it's still talked about. It happened back in 2019, and all three of them obviously still remember it. They think that it was an amazing experience. And so this summer when we went down to Gettysburg, my son, and he's just well, I want to see a ghost again. And I'm just well, buddy, it doesn't always happen. It's not like magic, you snap your fingers and it works. And I'm just it's still pretty cool.
You mean it's not the same way they do it on TV? He was
kind of almost throwing a temper tantrum a little bit. He's just I want to see it. I'm just well, we got to smell tobacco and we felt a cold spot. You've never felt a cold spot before. Yeah. It was ridiculously hot out, and then it got super cold. One, it was relieving. Because I was sweating so badly because how hot it was, in August in Gettysburg, in Pennsylvania. It was miserably hot. And I'm just and then we got to smell tobacco shortly after. That was really cool. And he's it smelled more like hot dogs. I'm just really? Really? You coming at me with your negativity, bro?
He's got
I know, he had that moment, so he wants that moment to happen all the time from here on out.
Yeah, he peaked too early.
I know.
It was too quick. And now
I know. I waited how many years to have that experience, buddy, and you had it at the age of 6?
Yeah. Wow.
How dare they? How dare they? But yeah, no, it just... I think the parenting aspect in it and just experiencing growing, and they might get bored and tired of it, and trust me, they have moments when they're just shut up, guys.
Yeah, actually a quick story.
Well, they actually don't tell us shut up, but
just because we got a kick out of it. We had just recently, so to kind of give a little bit more background. So as far as from like an investigative standpoint, for a long time it was just something that we have done just on our own because we enjoyed it, and we're firm believers, even as we acquire more things to use. Investigation, tools to use. That's what I mean. Investigating still at its core is just for us being in a location and just being in that moment and utilizing yourself. The feelings, the senses you get.
You are your best tool.
Yeah, absolutely, you're your best tool. So, but we obviously wanted to dive in a little further, and as we've been kind of taking on some more investigations and doing some bigger locations and actually getting a little bit more involved in actually getting calls.
And needing 3 of almost everything because now the kids...
Now they all want to use it, exactly. So we've acquired a healthy amount of different tools that we like to use, and so we went out and we're like, wow, geez, we have enough stuff now. We need to get a case of sorts. Like,
instead of my handy-dandy backpack wasn't cool enough.
We weren't quite cool enough yet for like the briefcase and the styrofoam fitting.
We're still not cool enough.
We're not there at all. But
I don't think we ever will be.
No, but and we're too cheap. We're bargain shoppers. So we found this great toolbox.
We're a family of 5. Of course, we're bargain shoppers.
Absolutely. We found this great toolbox that we use that conveniently fit all of our tools in it, and it had compartments. It was great. It had everything we needed.
It also had like compartments for because we like to use both science and metaphysical.
Absolutely.
And that's one thing that we will probably definitely talk about. Like, we love to be able to bring both parts into an investigation, because why? I don't need to prove that ghosts and spirits that they're real. They are real.
Yeah, I just want to communicate.
I just want to communicate.
I know they're there.
We just want to talk shit. We just want to talk.
So we get this case,
shit,
and
you know what I mean.
Do I have a beep button? You can't swear. This is family networking.
This isn't. They said that I could swear.
Good thing we have a disclaimer. So
it slipped.
So anyway, we get this toolbox and we come home, we get everything in there, and I'm excited. I mean, you get excited about these things as an adult, right? Like when you get to go to like grocery shopping without your kids, or you get to like the yard looks good and raked. You get a new piece of equipment, a new toolbox to hold all your stuff.
It's like
Missy
Christmas.
and I were super excited, and
we were thinking of all the stickers that we're gonna put on it.
Yeah. In comes Dylan, and she just starts dogging. She's
you
like,
said her name when we weren't gonna say names.
That's right. I didn't say her name. In comes our daughter, and she's just like, so what? You guys just going to walk in with your little toolbox, and, here we are to investigate your house. You're in a ghost here, and she's just ragging on us. I'm like, so clearly there's some days where they don't have all the excitement that we have. But, again, at the end of the day, they are still kids, so,
One thing that's really cool is that, like, when we put on the television and, like, in a location or something, and they're just like, oh, I want to go there. Yeah. Where is that?
Bucket list.
Like they're already building their own personal bucket list, and I'm just like, you ain't going there until I get to go there. And that's one thing that is a kind of a bummer in this field, is that there are locations and places where they can't go because of their age, which is a bummer. Understandable, liability, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like, I know that our daughter would totally love to go to Waverly Hills.
For sure. So before we kind of get into what the other shows are going to be about, and again, kind of diving more into what the goal is of this show, maybe you just mentioned it, maybe we could talk a little bit about, because again, there's a lot of different elements to the paranormal, and a big one for us and for a lot of people is investigating. And checking out locations, and I know that everyone's got different styles, everyone's got different techniques. For what it's worth, maybe we can kind of give a little insight as to what some of our go-tos are and what our styles are. So, but like Missy was saying, for us, when we go check out these places, we're not. I think it depends on what your goal is when you investigate. So there's people that are strictly out there to try to prove that a claim is real. There's people that go out there to strictly prove that it's not real and it can all be explained away and debunked. There's people that want to help.
That have that healthy skepticism.
Or the other one is the healthy balance of both, which I think is important. There's also people that go out because their mission is to help people that are in need, and then there's people like us that really just want to check out locations and validate experiences for ourselves, and just have that open line of communication and being very open to receiving messages, whether they're in a physical form, whether they're captured scientifically, whether they're captured metaphysically. So for us, it's kind of a healthy combination of everything as far as what we are go-to for investigations. We kind of stick with a very basic tools. Your K2s, your EMF detectors, your dowsing rods, pendulums,
what is it thing?
Oh, the FLIRs, the thermal imaging cameras.
Yeah,
there.
But also like a thermometer.
Yep, temperature change.
Thank you.
We recently, which I know everyone's got their own opinion about them, but we recently started. We got into using some spirit box and trying some different spirit box.
But we're still
sessions.
very healthy skeptic. That's one thing that, like you said, I think last time we talked about the tools, and just like we need to have like a disclaimer that we still like. I'm not jumping on board on the spirit box. Like I would like validation to back up even more the session or what possibly
and I
could
think
have happened.
for some of these things, and again, and I feel like it's so like taboo to talk about, like, oh no, you can't talk about having fun. I think that some investigating should also be fun. Like I think if you're not having fun, then like anything, you're not doing it for the right reasons. And so some of these tools, I look at using a spirit box as more of a fun tool. I look at it where if you get something awesome, there's different methods, of course, of using it. We prefer, the Estes method or just the isolation method. I think if you're going to get good results, that might be the best, but it's enjoyable because you don't know what you're going to get. But it also, when you combine tools like that, the K2s, EVPs, and then you mix them with the metaphysical side, which is, and this is where Missy and I think have a really good kind of check and balance because, for me, it was always the scientific side, the tools. Like I want to use the equipment, I want to capture something on equipment.
Richie likes pushing buttons.
I love pushing buttons. That's why I shouldn't be sitting on this side of the computer because sometimes things happen. Oh, jeez, someone got shot.
Oh my god.
But so for me, it was always that, and I wanted to capture those things, and Missy really has shown me and brought in the other side, that the more metaphysical, the more spiritual side, and it's such a great when you think of when you go back to our fancy toolbox that we bought, that we got made fun of for. The more you can put in that toolbox, the better off you are. So if you can come at it from a scientific standpoint, if you can come at it from a metaphysical side, if you can use your own body and your own feelings and emotions, then that's just more ways to validate itself. And at the end of the day, it leaves less room for question and more, I guess, proof, if that's what you're looking for. So
yeah.
So that's kind of where we are, and we're very open-minded. We go into each situation open-minded. I don't, I don't know if looking for anything specific. Just looking to have the experiences, I guess. Really.
Yeah, definitely, pretty much, and we definitely respect everybody that has their own tools and techniques when they investigate. I think it's very interesting when you bring these things to the table because. Back so many years ago, it was pretty much just a voice recorder that people were using.
Sure.
And you had to use these other types of tools to figure out if they would work for this field. So why shut down and be like, oh no, that's not going to work with this new technology, new tools that are coming out? I'm just like, why not? And like you said, kind of bring. Obviously, I think it's fun, any type of investigating, but bring something new in. It's fun, it's exciting. It's a hobby. We're not getting paid for this, so let's make the most of it. Let's spend all of our money on these cool tools,
right?
And just have fun with it.
Absolutely, no. And again, when you're going to hear us talk about this word all the time, but when you go back to the unity and bringing different styles and different people together. So just a quick example, we did an investigation at Parsonsfield Seminary.
We did a fundraising event.
Yes, we did a fundraising event actually, which is another thing that we can talk about that we love to do.
And can't wait to do more of.
And so we did this event, and it was a good size event, and so what it was us. We had hosted it with some help from another friend group of ours,
Maine Paranormal Society.
Yep. And so it was a big session, and we were able to break off into smaller groups, but the groups were people that necessarily had never met before. Everyone had gotten their tickets at different places, so we were all kind of brought in, and it was really cool to see how that formed the investigation because and I remember in our group we had a medium that was, for myself, it wouldn't have been a tool that I would have used, but because of things that she was picking up on, it helped to guide our investigation in certain areas, which led to some pretty cool results. So again, a situation where, maybe it wouldn't have been something that I would have used myself, but because we were together in that environment and we were brought together, we were able to kind of validate each other's experience. Scientifically, we were able to back up what she was thinking and feeling, and she was able to kind of validate what we were catching on our end. So it was a cool experience of the two being brought together.
Yeah, no, definitely. I love I love working with other sensitives in this field, because it's almost as interesting. Like, I used to do a group, and it was a group of women, and we would walk around a location and write down like things that we were experiencing, sensing, whatever, and we wouldn't share anything until the end. And then coming together at the end after walking through the location together, and then sharing what we were sensing and picking up on, and it was just mind-blowing. Like, and it's nice validation. Like, okay, I was sensing that there was this man dressed in black in this corner. He was a little creepy, kind of like a standoffish, like, don't come into my area. And just like, it almost just like, not only hearing like they were sensing it, but other people kind of bringing other things to the table to kind of put the pieces together and almost just like make a story of it. Like, I love working with other sensitives in that group, like in that aspect.
Nice.
But also, like, the scientific part of it, too. Like, I love it all. Like, I want to see, like, the K2s, like, go off for no reason. Like, I want to hear a creepy voice come back and answer all my questions that I'm asking. Like, I love all of it.
Definitely.
Like, the thermal, too. Like, the thermal camera. That's so cool. Love all of that.
So, now that we've kind of spent some time telling you about us and some things that we like.
Thanks still for hanging out.
If you're still awake, we appreciate that you're still with us. But so now to kind of talk a little bit about what this show is, what it means to us, and where we want to go with it. So, Para Peeps New England was kind of an idea where just one of the things that we realized through starting this whole thing, like we talked about a little bit ago, was that we found really quickly that there is a lot of people that have a lot to say, and there's a lot of people that have very interesting stories. There's a lot of different ideas. There's a lot of different methods. There's a lot of just different everything. And every meeting that we've done, every live event that we've done, every time we've gotten together with other groups or done investigations, everybody brings something different to the table.
And we love that. And I love that.
Absolutely love it, because one thing we talk about a lot too is that there are no professionals, at least in my mind, in our mind, in this field. So everybody has just as unique of an opinion and is just as important as somebody else's opinion on everything that is paranormal, because it's all about the unknown. So the more you can know and the more tools you can bring into it, the better. So our idea for this show is to talk to talk to individuals that would have, by no other means, have a platform or no way of communicating, and just get some insight, whether it's we're talking about different locations, different experiences, whether it's somebody that wants to have a conversation about different types of tools and different investigation styles. I know we plan on talking with some people that are really involved in the cryptid fields, ufology and things in the sky. I mean, there's so many different fields and different.
It's like a paranormal umbrella. Like, there is so many things underneath this umbrella.
Oh, that's what I was going to say.
So
it's
many
like
layers.
Even, one of the things we found through these meetings is like you've got we've had people that are strictly UFO, like that's ufology and following that's their passion. We've had people that are strictly,
but it's also crazy to talk to these people and they have like this strong pull, like feeling like it's paranormal, like ghost spirit encounters can also be explained as UFO experiences and stuff like that.
Well, and that's what I was going to say was that I think that
I got really excited and I had to say that.
Well, you beat me to it. Well, that's what I mean. One of the things that we found was that some of these things, you start to see these connections between them, and somebody who thought maybe an experience was paranormal, here we are now talking with somebody who's had these these alien experiences, and they're talking about the same things, and they're talking about the same experience almost, and you start to see these connections, and it was just really cool. It was really eye-opening, and even though we were the ones that were putting on these get-togethers, and we always opened up the meetings by being like, we got the place and the time, but now you guys talk. and talk to us. And so
it's not like you guys want to keep on hearing us talk.
And so that's really what we're looking for with this show is that we're right now we're going to be doing a show a month. And it might go more than that, but we're gonna start there. And each show we're gonna look to kind of showcase and put the spotlight on an individual who has something that they want to say and something they want to talk about. And some of them will be well-known individuals. Other of them will be just people that we've met and throughout all of this networking and that we find interesting and that we would love to hear their side of it. We also talked about some of these shows being, we would love to hear your ghost encounters or your UFO encounters or your cryptid encounters, and we'll do a whole show where we just talk about people's stories.
And there will be an episode about Gettysburg.
Yes, it'll probably be a long one. I think we have an hour time slot, but it'll probably request 2. So it'll be a to be continued. And then we have other shows where we just want to talk about some locations.
Or talk about what's going on in our lives, because we actually kind of have some stuff going on here possibly at our house right now, and being able to share that with you guys would be really exciting as well.
So, like I said, the
sky's the limit.
The sky is the limit. And we're really excited. And again, we can't thank you guys enough for listening and giving us this opportunity. We'd also like to take a minute real quick and just give a huge shout out to Paranormal Buzz Radio. Through them, we've been able to kind of set this up, and they've done a great job. They have a ton of shows that they've put out, so you can check them out on any of your podcast networks, your Spotify's, your Apples, wherever you can find a podcast, they'll be there. So if you search for Paranormal Buzz Radio, then you can find the links to the individual shows, where you'd find ours as well, which is Parapeeps New England. We are going to be airing a new show on the second Monday of every month. So we'll obviously post on our pages and our social medias as far as links to those. Do you want to kind of give some info as to where people can find some of our stuff?
Yeah, I guess I could let them know where they can find us. Maybe. So one thing, I feel like our biggest platform where people can reach out and get in contact with us, or even just start to follow us, is on our Facebook page.
And we haven't even been censored yet.
No one's even kicked us off.
No one's even kicked us off. So
yeah, because we're up there like talking smack and doing terrible stuff all the time. Not
swearing.
Really.
Jeez.
I know, swearing. I'm sorry. I do have a potty mouth, but anyways, that's probably why we find EVPs with our kids swearing on them.
Yeah, I don't know where they get it from.
Yeah, I don't know where they get it from. But anyways, our main platform would definitely be Facebook. You can reach out to us there.
Facebook.com/paranormal5.
Yep, our Paranormal 5, and it's spelled out 5, not the number 5. Yep. I had to write the number 5 as I said that. And then our other place where you can find us is on Instagram. I'm not the best at upkeeping it, but we're at there also, Paranormal 5. You can search and find us there as well. And then also we do have a website, which we're trying to revamp that.
We have a .com, paranormal5.com. You can find us, and right now it's actually, and please, I encourage everyone to go check out the website, because as of right now it serves as a link to Missy's blogs, where she goes into some different topics, and everything from being a mom and a parent in the paranormal to, of course, Gettysburg, to some bucket list items. So there's some stuff there to go and check out, but we are going to be looking to rework the .com in so that we can also have links to the podcasts. I believe there's also already links to our other social media.
Yeah, I think you can find everything there too as well. But definitely go and check out the thing. And I'm hoping with this going on, this podcast, because this podcast was kind of like, doing this show was kind of like a goal that Richie wanted to start with when we first started Paranormal 5. Is like, eventually I would love to totally do something like this. And well, here we are, Richie.
Here we are. I'm excited.
It's
awesome. It's awesome.
It only took us 3 takes to get started, but now we're here almost an hour, and I don't think we've messed up yet.
I don't think so.
Maybe, possibly. Who knows?
It's all right. We're one taking it.
Yeah.
All the way. Well, third taking it.
Yeah, third taking
it.
We're
one taking the third take. Does that make sense?
It doesn't make sense, but we're just rolling with it. We're rolling with the punches, going with the flow.
And so some of the other things, so on our Facebook page, you can check out on every other Wednesday at 8 p.m. we do a live event where Missy and I get on, and those are a little bit more of kind of, we like to have those with some structure. And
yeah, we keep them. The past few have been open topics. Sometimes we like to bring like a topic. I'll do the research. Richie acts like he does the research, but I do the research.
I crinkle up pages so it sounds like I'm reading out of my research, but I just like to go with it.
I just once again, it's the history part. Like, I love bringing the history, like finding out stuff about it.
So you can find those every other Wednesday. So
and we make a Facebook event for those when we do that.
Yeah.
So
and
they're
also
very easy to find.
Every Monday we do a live show as well, so you can check that out.
Yeah.
And then again, like I said, these shows here will be posted every second Monday of every month, and we'll go from there. So anything else you want to take people out with?
Oh man. Let me think. Oh, I don't know, but I'm going to mention it. But over on our Paranormal 5 Facebook page, we have teamed up with Essex County Ghost Project along with Spirit Chasers. And hopefully, if COVID doesn't rain on our parade, we will be doing New England Parafest. We partnered, or they asked us to partner with them and help run this event this year. And we are so honored to be a part of it. There is an amazing lineup of speakers from your cryptids, your see, now I'm messing up, and I get tongue-tied very easily. Ufologists. Did I say it right that time?
Close enough.
Okay, we're just rolling with it. And our spooky ghost spirit paranormal investigator.
Yeah, and as of right now, it is going to be held in Kittery. Again,
Kittery, Maine.
We're still waiting on the final, but everything's looking like it's on the right track. Hopefully. So we'll continue to post more about that as we get closer.
But if you're interested in any of it, just like I said, head on over to our Facebook page. The event is posted there, and reach out if you have any questions about that, because we would love to be able to help you out in that department.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and also really cool that we made up stickers. Richie likes to call them stamps because they're kind of stamp size, even though they are bigger than stamps.
Yes. Slightly bigger than stamps.
So if you guys are interested in sending or getting some Paranormal 5 stickers, we would love to send them out to you.
If you're hearing this for the first time, hop on over on our Facebook page and throw us a comment, throw us a like, tell us you're brand new, tell us how much you either did or did not like the show. And either way, we will gladly send you a sticker.
No hard feelings.
No hard feelings at all. We take it all. Comments are much
I know.
loved.
Feedback, negative or positive, it's feedback. And you grow from it. You grow from it. You grow and learn from it.
You do. So... other than that, guys, again, thank you so much for tuning in and listening. We appreciate each and every one of you guys. So, yes, thank you. And thank, again, Paranormal Buzz Radio for kind of giving us this opportunity. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm super excited for the next show. We're going to have our first guest at the next show, which we're not gonna drop it now.
No,
we're not. Wait.
No name drops yet.
But we are really excited about it. It is another. We'll just say it's another Maine-based guest. Excuse me. So we're really excited to have this guest on. Guests, plural. So yeah, we're excited for that. So be on the lookout, and as we get a little bit closer, we will announce the guest and announce the topic of the show, and that's how we're gonna roll. We're gonna keep you guessing, and yeah.
Yeah.
So. Anything last but not least? No.
I would just love to share some of my stamp stickers.
Yes, so let us know. Reach out to us. We'll send you some stuff, some merch, man. But yes, again, as always, guys, thank you so much for tuning in and listening to us. And stay safe and all that good stuff.
Yeah, stay safe, stay healthy.
Yep. And come back and check us out next month.
Yes, definitely.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.